In Search for Wellness is created by Eden's Cellular Wellness Solutions, whose vision is to develop and create wellness solutions. Eden's Cellular Wellness Solutions presents to you How Do I Start My Journey in Search for Wellness? You are most welcome to participate in this series of discussions on 6 topics. These topics are designed as a wellness solution to encourage and empower you make the important decision and take action towards your journey in search for wellness. How do I start my journey in search for wellness? This is part 1 of trainings on wellness and is prepared by Eden's Cellular Wellness Solution. Welcome. In this training, we will be covering a series of topics. In fact, 6 topics. Why should I be interested? Why should I be interested? One can ask that question. Why should I be interested in searching for wellness? How do I start my journey? Someone may wonder, where do I begin? I have had this and that, but how and where do I begin? When do I start? At what stage of my life should I start? I don't feel pain anywhere. I'm not sick. I'm able to do my work. Is it really necessary? When do I start? What is my objective? My gift of life? And can I influence my wellness? So we'll be going through these sections in a series of short trainings until we complete the whole of the topics. When do I start? Welcome to section 3 of How Do I Start My Journey in Search for Wellness. I hope you have been able to go through section 1 and section 2 because these slides, they move following each other in sequence. So this one, we will look at this topic of when do I start? When do I start my journey in search for wellness? When do I start my journey in search for wellness? We say that many people in different stages of life, you will find that you have teenagers, you have people in their 20s, you have people in their 30s, in their 40s, and so on. And at times people may wonder, is this thing about lifestyle change, is it relevant in my life in my 20s? Is it relevant in my life in 30, when I'm in the 30s? And so this question is still relevant. It's still relevant, and you find people will engage with such a question. And depending on how they answer that question, they will either be able to find the relevance of an endeavor towards improving their wellness. And depending on how they answer that question in themselves, you may find that someone decides that it is not relevant. After all, I'm young. After all, I'm just in my 20s. After all, I'm only in my 30s. I'll start the journey when I'm in my 40s. Or people say, I'm too busy in my 40s. I can't be bothered about my health. I will start it when I get older. So you find that people will engage in this kind of questions. And so it is a very important question, and I hope that whatever we cover in these next few slides, one will be able to decide the relevance and the importance and the value and the worth of engaging in such an endeavor to search for one's wellness. You realize that many times when you are sitting or walking with friends or a group of people or different categories of people, you may find somebody making expressions. Or if you, like we said in the other video, when you go in a group of people of different categories and do some research by asking questions, people will express to you different experiences. So when one starts making expressions to people or to oneself, expressions such as, I always feel so tired. I am so tired. I'm always so tired. In the morning, I wake up tired. In the evening, I can hardly do anything because I'm so tired. And you find someone wondering, how can I break this chain of fatigue? I'm so fatigued in my mind, my body. I'm so fatigued. Even after eating, I feel so tired, even when I've eaten. When I sit down, I don't want to wake up. I have no desire to take a walk. You may hear somebody say, I used to do this and that easily, but I can hardly do these things anymore. You find that there are things that people would say, when I was young, I used to do this. When I was young, and my dear, the person who is saying this may be in their 50s, maybe in between their 50s to 60s or early 60s, or somebody's in mid 40s. Somebody is saying, I used to do this. And I used to do it so easily, but now I can hardly do it. You may even find people in their 30s, or these days it's not uncommon to hear young people in their 20s saying, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I just want to sit. I just want to laze around. And you find that such people, even in their youth, you find that there is no creativity. You have no creativity. They don't want to do anything. They have no desire for anything. They just want to stretch themselves the whole day. Or you may find somebody saying, I wonder what happened to me. I used to do this and that so easily, but now I can hardly do them anymore. I wonder what happened to me. I used to think faster and I solve difficult problems, but now I can't. You hear someone say, I have no motivation anymore, and I can't prompt myself to do this and that anymore. You find that at times you may start to do something, and then you are caught up by another event that hinders you from going on with what you are doing. And then you find that you're saying, I have no motivation to go back to that thing anymore. I'm not interested anymore. I don't even know why I started it in the first place. So you start something and you find after reaching a point, you have no desire for it. You have no motivation for it. You have no energy for it. You see? And then you ask somebody wondering, what can I do to improve myself once again? And people wonder, can I work in my 50s the way I worked when I was 30? Can I work in my 50s with the way I used to work when I was in my early 40s? When I was in my 40s, can one work as when one was in their late 20s? You see, what can I do to improve myself once again? Who can help me? You see, because of the status of the status of the factors that influence the human wellness, the wellness of the cells, the physiology of the organs, the functioning metabolic actions of the cells, the synergy or the working together of all these systems. There are so many modern factors that have greatly affected the whole of the human system, that what is happening today is a sorrowful state, because you find that human beings, people are becoming less and less and less productive. You find people are becoming less and less productive. You find young people in their youth, they are less productive. When they have the benefit of their youth, it is the time when they are most inactive and unproductive. And generally in the society, you find generally people becoming less and less productive. And people are being slowed down by factors that are playing right within their cells, right within ourselves. That is where the strength of everything is being crippled. So if one is at this place, for example, if one has really reached such a place that this is how your body is responding. This is how one system responds. Is responding to ideas, to creativity, to innovative or opportunities. If this is how one system is responding, if one is in this place, it may be necessary for one to start thinking of how to make lifestyle adjustments. It means that there are critical lifestyle factors, like we have seen before, that have slowly and slowly continued seeping up, slowing down the activities and the efficiency of the cells. The over 100 trillion cells in the body are no longer able to maximize on their capacity, maximize on the opportunity of producing and generating wellness for a person. And then you see that with the time over the years, you see the cells, like we have seen before, start slowing down. Their supplies are no longer sufficient, and they are no longer in the correct broad spectrum, and you see that the biochemical work continues to degenerate. And so if a person is at this place, you find many people these days, even at 35 years, people are making such complaints. Early 40s, people are making such complaints. What about when one is at 50? You find that one, as early as 50 years, you find somebody grounded, and that person is not sick, that person has no disease, but the body is refusing to function. And if one is experiencing such symptoms, it is maybe necessary for someone to start thinking of how to make lifestyle adjustments. However, I suggest that one should start much earlier. One should start making these lifestyle adjustments far much earlier before one reaches this place. In fact, this consciousness of wellness, this wellness consciousness should actually be planted, should be sown in the minds of children at home, in the family, and in the kitchen. So this thing, this revolution of this scientific lifestyle revolution, the fire for this revolution should start being ignited in the kitchen, in the family, in the home, because the home and the family and the kitchen is the center of human's existence. Power in the kitchen. I love my kitchen, and I love cooking, and I love the many things that I can do in my kitchen. I've always said to myself that the kitchen is a laboratory. It presents the activities that goes on in the kitchen, provides somebody with so many stimuli, that motivate you or someone to try this and the other. In the process of making meals, in so many varieties, in so many categories, in so many ways, it is a very exciting venture. And especially when you come to realize the power of the kitchen in helping members of the family, generate the bodies of members of the family, generate wellness and sustained energy and ability to continue and sustain their activities. So parents who learn these skills may teach and train their children early. Remember this section we are looking at. When do I start? When do I start my journey in search for wellness? And we have seen that there's a point in our lives that people feel that their body is disobeying. And that is when they start going to the doctors and they start on this and that medication. And most of the times, people are not necessarily sick. They go to the doctor and medical diagnosis is done, examinations are carried out, and then at times you find there's no diagnosis. The doctors find nothing. And then you are told to go home, you have no disease. And this is a scenario, is a condition within the body that has come about because of unmet situations like we have seen. We have said that it is at that particular point, it will be relevant for someone to consider making lifestyle changes. And above all, everyone who is engaging in this material may consider starting this journey far much earlier. And above all, we are saying that this consciousness needs to be sown by the parents at home, within their family members, that every child as they are growing, this consciousness about health, wellness. We say that wellness is not automatic. Wellness must be nurtured. It is an individual responsibility or family responsibility, and it must be nurtured, and therefore it is not automatic. It is possible to abuse one's wellness with indulgences, and in such processes, we end up destroy our opportunities of achieving wellness. So we are saying that parents who learn these skills are in a good position to teach and train their children early. It is never too early to begin anything. And I've found when you explain and you teach the children the importance of these things, they will never depart from it. They will even grow to live according to what they have learned. Information released from research is not provided in elementary science, unfortunately. Unfortunately, what is being developed right now by scientists in this effort to fight degeneration of diseases is not all part of the elementary science that we learned in primary school or in secondary school. It is detailed, more expansive research that has gone on. In fact, the science of our bodies and nutrition that we learned in elementary school is we can now say, when you look at what is coming out from research, you can say that it was based on information that was not complete. It was based on research which was not complete. But because of the catastrophes that has faced humanity and nations in health and wellness being challenged, This research has brought the world into a new sphere of knowledge, into a new sphere of territory. And that is why it is important for us to release this information so that anybody interested may be able to use it. This information released by research is not provided in elementary science. And we may say that parents can provide a key role of being drivers of this lifestyle revolution. Whether one is an old parent, as a grandmother, or even the young parents. The young parents are now in a very good position of raising their families in a manner to fight the diseases of lifestyle by ensuring that the cells of their family members do not reach into a state of degeneration by the time they are 40 years old. So parents are key drivers of this lifestyle revolution. And this is something that may need to start in the home and family. It is a good place to start in the home and family, in planning and sources out for nutrients. We must realize that we have lost what has been passed on by our parents. And this is something that the researchers have really used big time in their research and making comparisons. They have shown that our forefathers, the older generations did not suffer from diseases that the generations are experiencing today. And it is because there are ways of feeding, their way of carrying around our bodies that they passed on to us, that we stopped, we adopted new ways, modern ways, which seem to be more relevant and more sophisticated. The old ways seem like they are too old-fashioned and too archaic and too prehistoric, like they were not relevant. And we may need to go back to that place. We may need to go back, and that is what even the medical doctors are telling us. That is what the medical researchers, nutrition researchers, biochemists, that is what they are telling us. That we may have to go back and look at the ways of our grandparents, of our great-grandparents, so that we may go back and start growing those foods and start using those meals that they were using, and so that we may improve our lifestyle in a manner in which they were living. Like doing exercises, you can ensure that our lives are active, ensure that our foods are wholesome foods. Our food sources for nutrients are wholesome foods. That way, you'll be able to continue supplying the relevant nutrients that the cells are so greatly demanding to sustain wellness, to generate wellness, to ensure that efficiency and immunity is sustained continuously. Change is not easy, nor is it automatic, as it may sound. Change is not easy, and it is not automatic. Every end of the year, we make resolutions. We desire to make some changes here, and most of the times we never succeed. Because change is not easy, and it is not automatic. When I desire to change my lifestyle, it will not happen automatically. There are some activities, there are some disciplines I must embrace. There are some adjustments I must make, like just we have seen. It is not an automatic thing. And you find that every time you want to make a change, there are some underlying factors, established ways of thinking and living that will resist that change. So lifestyle is like entrepreneurship. An entrepreneur An entrepreneur is a very resourceful person. An entrepreneur drives his projects, even in challenges and setbacks. He is the key resource. He must find ways of overcoming challenges and driving his business project continuously. And so a process of lifestyle change is just like a process of developing entrepreneurship. And it calls for self-drive. It calls for persistence. It calls for resistance to discouragement. And one must refuse to give up, among others. A process of lifestyle change in search for wellness, a journey in search for wellness. We realize that it is a worthwhile project. It's a worthwhile project. And it is a worthwhile project engaging in. And it is very important for every person who engages in it not to stop it but because of discouragement, because they felt they can't succeed, or they feel that they are not attaining results, or they feel it is too difficult. One should not give up. So one should resist discouragement and refuse to give up, among others. And like I said, all these self-drive, persistence, resistance to discouragement, refuse to give up, and many other internal skills. These are powerhouses that are within us. These are powerhouses that God gives within us to be able to drive things through, to be able to drive projects through, to be able to create new things and develop them until they produce a fruit. These are powerhouses that God gives us to take us through difficult life situations and challenges. So when one decides that I want to go into this journey, one is placing a challenge upon oneself to change one's culture. To change a culture, a person's culture is just like a tree that has been planted, that has grown in a certain way, and its roots are pitched in a certain way. So to start to change one's lifestyle is actually a project to change one's culture. And so what one is doing is one is placing a challenge upon oneself to change the culture of one's life. And I have heard so many people say how they thrive on challenges, how people survive and find that they have greater strength and greater resources when they are faced by challenges. And so such a challenge is a challenge that you call out for great resources within a person. And you realize that people will rarely change. If I'm comfortable in a certain way and I'm going around and I'm not feeling pain and I have the energy to do this and that, I may not necessarily want to change. So people rarely do these things out of choice. People will rarely change out of choice. And that's why I'm encouraging even the young people at 20s, at 30s, at early 40s, towards 50, it's important that one is engaged in some change. So these changes, like we said, people rarely go through these changes out of choice, but people are forced by circumstances. I myself entered a process of change. I was forced by circumstances of fading resources within my being. And when I made the relevant changes, I still can't believe that my life was going down in such a way. But I thank God for the time He brought me to a point to get the correct knowledge, which helped me. And it is because of what God has done for me in the last 8 years that I'm able to prepare this information for you so that you may also enter that process of searching for your wellness. So don't wait until some forceful circumstances, painful circumstances that pins you down, commands you to change. Think about this change when you are still at the prime of your life. So we have seen that they are actually resistant factors. For example, especially the things that we are talking about. We are talking about improving our nutrient content. We are also saying that some things that we have indulged in, we must change, especially if we have lived a life of eating a lot of meat. If you have been eating a lot of meat, if one has been eating a lot of sugar foods like refined starches, lots of cakes and lots of white rice, lots of white ugari, lots of refined starches, a life that is deficient of vegetables and fruits. There is a way the body is developed in its biochemistry that it does not want to change from that. So there are also a way or we think and the way we go about our lives in a comfortable way, in a routine kind of way. And this is governed by a certain thought systems and habits, which also define an individual culture. And this condition may provide some resistant factors. However, we seek to activate energy and a desire out of choice in good time. See, we are talking about making decisions in good time. And the purpose of this work is to help every person to find energy activation and desire to be developed, which can be used out of choice. You have the energy, you have the desire, you have good time, so out of your own choice and in good time, you make worthwhile adjustments. However, there are things that may provide resistance, like psychological comfort of established thought systems, of habits that have become individual culture. We have seen how an individual culture may become a resistant factor. Some of this individual culture, people believe this is who I am and there's nothing else I can do, I can't change. But surely that is not true. One can change. Only need to get to learn the truth, and the Word of God tells us the truth will set us free. When you have learned the truth about something, that truth will help you adapt to it. If you adapt your system towards the truth and your thinking towards the truth, you are sure are going to find change taking place slowly by slowly. Once developed culture and expectations in social circles. You see, once the kind of culture that ones have in social circles among friends, and the way people expect of them, of a person, and how a person decides to present themselves in their social circles. This can become a hindering factor. The tastes of foods, taste of many things that we like neighboring about. Aroma of foods that one can no longer resist. There are also addictions, cravings, indulgences that lock us down like imprisonment. These are also factors that may hinder and may bring resistance, may bring conflict in this journey. There is also the biochemical culture that places demand on some foods. When we give the body a certain kind of foods, the body wants that kind of food. If someone has been smoking for a long time, the whole system is demanding for cigarettes. You find that people, when a person is used to eat a lot of sweet things, a lot of cake, a lot of ice cream, the body must have some ice cream. It keeps demanding for these things. So this is about chemical culture that places demand on some foods. The other thing that we have mentioned about is sedentary living. Sedentary living. One really need to spend energy. One really need to spend time and energy. One needs to really exact a kind of forceful forceful. It is a forceful change. It is not going to come in a smooth and automatic way. And that is why it requires somebody's engagement, somebody's determination, and somebody realize how valuable is the objective of this thing? How valuable is the purpose of this thing? Is it worthy of all this trouble? It is sure is worthy. And with that, we come to the end of this section 3 of my journey, of my journey in search for wellness. Thank you very much for your participation. I'm very appreciative that you have given this work time, that you have given this work some attention, and I trust that the training has unlocked the gates into your journey in search for wellness. And may God help you in this endeavor. This work is a product of Eden Cellular Wellness Solutions. Goodbye.